Hi everyone, it's Katish, and I am very excited that the Sound of Soul Healing is starting this coming Friday and will be every fortnight. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about for the Sound of Soul Healing is that we will be learning all about energy hygiene in relation to the emotions that we feel. And in one of my previous lives, I talked to you about the wide ways that we can absorb emotions from other people. Now, one of the things that we often absorb without understanding is we can actually be the recipients of emotion that is sent to us from somebody else without us even realizing. Now, this sounds like a difficult concept, but it's quite easy when you think about it in terms of when you've accidentally sent harmful emotions to somebody else and you haven't realized what you've done. So a good example of this is when you might be angry. And I know if you are in an intense state of anger, and I promise you, nobody's perfect, that sometimes we can wish things upon other people without realizing it. So we may be in a moment where we're stuck in hatred and we may say, I wish they would hurry up and fucking die. And perhaps that's got to do with somebody's grandparents or great-grandparents or in-laws or something like that, and you're just so sick of this toxic person being in your life. What you've just done there when you've said that wish and you've had that feeling of hatred and helplessness at your situation, which is tied up with a feeling of hatredness, is you've done like a psychic stab at that person and you have sent them hatred and anger, you've sent them frustration, and you've sent them ill wishes. So what we need to do is to be mindful that we're only human and we do experience a range of emotions out in life, but we have to be very careful in what we vocalize when we use our words, so that we don't send other people harmful energy because they can feel it. You also know on reverse if you have been the recipient of receiving harmful energy. So for example, you may be driving on the freeway and somebody cuts you off. And when they cut you off, they give you the finger at the same time. Or somebody might be driving behind you and they're angry and frustrated because you're not driving fast enough, or they've got to get somewhere and you're blocking the way, or whatever it is. And they may hoot the horn, they may yell at you, scream at you, give you the finger, whatever it is. And even if you don't look in your rear view mirror or out your side window, you can still feel that energy from that person who is sending out their hatred, their anger and their frustration, which has nothing to do with you, towards you. So we can't stop those other people feeling those emotions. We have got nothing to do with it other than that we were there by divine timing to activate that emotion in that person. It's not our responsibility to help that person with their emotions. All we can do is to acknowledge that we have been the recipient of that emotion and then allow ourselves to release this. So one of my lovely Buddhist nun teachers from Chenrezig Buddhist Institute on the Sunshine Coast taught us this wonderful thing. So imagine this, take a deep breath. Imagine you're driving along the freeway and somebody just starts abusing you from behind. So they're honking the horn, they're yelling out, or they're giving you the finger, or whatever it is, right? You know that it's going to trouble you because you can feel it. You're like, oh. I once was at a shopping centre at Christmas time, and I was going around a roundabout and there was a car coming in and there was this huge queue, and the way that it was that people coming in were in a queue. So it was one person goes in, the next one comes in, one, and that was the gentleman's agreement in the car. Anyway, this woman came flying in. She was 2 cars in front of her and she was waiting, and then she knew, could see that I was next, and so I went through. but in her mind, it should have been her time to go through. And so she just got so angry. But the interesting thing was that I had my children in the car. They were little at the time, so I'm still in car seats. And I drove. I kind of, felt it. I was like, oh, that was nasty. I drove and round and round and round and went in a multi-story car park. And then I went in the car park and I went to get out of the car and get Hamish out of the car. And the lady had followed me the whole way, and she rolled down her window and she blasted, like she used foul language to yell at me about her cutting her off. And this was now at least 5 minutes ago, but she just had a really good go at her. And both Hamish and I could feel it. It was just like, ugh, a nasty woman. Now, we can't stop that from happening, but at the time, if we're, we can't always just go and meditate, but what we can do is we can take a deep breath, and this is what my Buddhist nun taught me, is that you go, may you be well and happy. So what you're doing, it's not being facetious, is that you are taking that energy and you're acknowledging that it exists, you're acknowledging that it has impacted your state of being, you felt it in your body, and then now what you're going to do is you're going to transmute that energy. May you be well and happy. And even if you don't mean it, you know that you are involved in the active transmutation of that energy and you are releasing it from your body. So it's useful even when you're on the freeway. You can let that angry person in and then wave, may you be well and happy. So get that energy off you straight away, deflect it off you. Another good thing that you can do is you can go home and have a shower. Shower cleanses you of that negative energy. So there's a couple of points. You can also listen to a water meditation. And in that water meditation, you can visualize the water cleansing you. And so there's just a couple of examples of how we do let other people's energy affect us and how we can be the recipients of an emotion that has been intentionally or unintentionally sent to us, and how we can do it to others as well. So I'll give you a couple of other examples in case it's not crystal clear for you. So often we reflect, even if we're not aware that we've experienced an emotion, we can reflect it in the words that we say in conversation afterwards. And when you hear yourself repeating these phrases, you know that you have received energy that was from somebody else that is now unwanted, and you wish to transmute and release that energy. So for example, my partner is invading my space. Okay, that is a claustrophobic feeling. It's a sense of being watched over. It's a sense of somebody being perhaps jealous of you, not trusting of you, angry with you. There can be many ways that one where somebody can invade your space. And it's imagine somebody walked right up to your nose and stood right there. We can feel we have an energetic radius around us, in lay terms, and somebody walks into that space, you've got their energy smack bang up against your energy, and they can feel like an invasion of personal space. Okay, another example of this was, I was kicked when I was down. I felt as if I had been stabbed in the back. I felt like I was shot down by my boss. I beat myself up after the argument with my lover. I felt like I was held hostage during the meeting. The room was filled with explosive energy. And this is one that I've used many times. The energy was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I felt as if I had been beaten down, battered, bruised, or used as a punching bag during my interaction and by the words used. I felt like I was slapped across the face when my co-worker responded to me. I felt contaminated by the poisonous energy in the room. Okay, so I'm sure that we've all been in situations where we have experienced that kind of a situation. And while we may not have realized at the time that that actually affected us, it did, because when we speak the words, what we're speaking is what we felt. And what we felt was the energy, and behind the energy was an intention. And whether that intention was subconscious or conscious by the other person, you received that energy and took it on board, and it is now impacting your I am statement. It also impacts your perceptions about that other person. And each and every other time you see that person, you now have that energetic layer between the two of you, even if the situation has been a while ago. So you need to release and transmute that energy, accept that we're all imperfect human beings and that energy can be transferred from a subconscious level and a conscious level. And at times we just let the emotions get the worst of us, and we can do it and pass over these emotions without really realizing what we're doing. Okay, so as I said, you can learn a list of phrases that you can say in your mind that then transmutes that energy. Use your breath, close your eyes, bring your hands to your heart center or on your steering wheel if you're doing it, and say, may you be well and happy. And even if you can't verbalize it, say it in your mind. May you be well and happy. Because all human beings only want love and to be happy. And we need to get to that point in our life where even when we're at the recipient end of anger, frustration, and all the range of negative emotions, we simply wish for ourselves that we don't be on the receiving end of that, and we wish for the other person that they no longer feel these emotions. So may you be well and happy. Take notice of the sounds of the forest. And imagine yourself walking up to the forest stream. Walk right to the very edge of the stream. Put your tippy toes into the edge of the stream. Feel cool water rush your toes. Looking up at your legs, see how you have come to this forest stream in your favourite bathing suit, favourite togs, cozy, boardies, whatever it is you call it. Now notice how the forest stream has such a beautiful temperature that it immediately invites you to step into the forest stream and partake of the clearing energy. As you step into the forest stream, say to yourself, may I now be cleansed of the negative energy that I have sent out to others unwittingly, unconsciously or consciously this bit. May I transmute it into love, because all beings just loved. And may I also clear myself, transmute all unwanted energies that I receive. May I transmute this energy into love for the highest being, well-being and good for all beings here in this world and the next. And that you set your intention, walk slowly, carefully and gently into the forest stream. Feel how the water laps up your body as you take each step deeper into the stream, and then sit or lie down in the stream depending upon how deep it is. Know that you are safe and comfortable, that the water is clear and fresh, and safe for you to be in. And allow the stream now to wash your worries away. Allow the stream to move off all negative energy that you have internalized this week and all negative energy that you sent out. Notice how the water has brought you back to awareness. These feelings no longer subside and reside in your body, and that they have floated off downstream. Become aware of the neutrality of your feelings now. And when you are ready, you may step up and out of the stream, dry yourself off with your towel, and return to your daily life, knowing that you can come back to this moment and this thing at any time when you need to release, cleanse, and clear negative or unwanted emotions, and that you can also do this in your own home when you shower in the morning and evening. Namaste.